best would you describe yourself?
It's my pleasure, Donald, for having me on MOBtv.
Yes, sir.
Your TV rocks. I like it.
Thank you.
I view it sometimes on YouTube. You sent it to me, and
Yes.
I went there and I like what I saw. Well, viewers, greetings to you all. My name is Aloy Ejimakor. I'm a legal practitioner and best known as a human rights activist, and I'm one of the lawyers to Nnamdi Kanu. They call me special counsel, and I'm here on the invitation of MOB to speak to you all today. Thank
All
you
right.
for having me on.
Thank you so much,
Mhm.
sir. Sir, you have been with Nnamdi Kanu for
Yes.
a time now. What is your relationship with him like outside the struggle as a person, as a human being? What would you say he is like?
Well, I've come to see him as my brother in the macro sense, from one evil man to the other, and we have also become very close friends. There is no way you can represent someone like him since 2017, 9 years ago, without developing some bond at the personal level. So we have bonded very strongly at the personal level. He's a wonderful individual, and I found him to be very inspiring and someone who stands behind his convictions very strongly. And it's very interesting to have him as a client. I would sometime. I referred to him as my most valuable client, and I stand by it. Not valuable in terms of material resources or money or anything, but there is a lot of satisfaction that comes from representing someone. But professionally, I'm very satisfied in representing him, and I have become fulfilled professionally in many ways than one since I met him.
Okay, so there's been a lot of conspiracy theories. There's been a lot of propaganda. There's been a lot of news. There's been a lot of rumor. A lot of happened.
Yeah.
So, but I have you here, and so we'll have to get some clarifications. Do you think that there is a possibility that Mazen Namdekalo will be released?
Yeah, sure. He will be released. How he's going to be released, I can only predict. I cannot tell you with any degree of certainty. This is not the first time this type of thing has happened. You recall in 1963 or 64, Obafemi Awolowo was tried for treason. There was no military officer or even police officer tried with him, but he was tried for treason and defined as an attempt to overthrow the federal government led by Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. He had no weapons. I think somewhere, some local police constable found a den gun in the house of Anthony Inahoro. Inahoro was Awolowo's principal associate in the Action Group Party that was trying to control the Western Nigeria. So I think that was escalation of the political quarrel between him and the Tafawa Balewa government. So they charged him for treason, and he couldn't beat the rap. So everybody at that time, and historically now, you young men will read in history, that at that time the judge, late Justice Showimo, told Nigerians in his memoir, before he died, that his hands were tied. So what he was saying basically was that Awolowo's case was political. It wasn't legal. It wasn't anything for the judiciary to settle. And I had said somewhere else, and I'm sure somebody else must have said it, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case mirrors that of Awolowo. His case is more political than legal. I maintain that stance. So when I was lead counsel, I was lead counsel between February 2024 and March 2025. I maintained that stand, even in open court. I had made an application for the judge to recommend that the parties go home and settle, because this matter is more political than legal. But sometimes in any society, especially one as not so well ordered as ours, there is this strange mix of politics and legalities. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu caught up in that web. And that is why he's today serving a life sentence. So there are two paths, two avenues to seeking for his freedom. One is through the judicial part, which is in process right now. The appeal process is ongoing, and we expect that it shall be concluded before the end of the year, and we intend to prevail. But apart from that, there is also there is a covert maneuver by some politicians or political leaders to see that this thing gets settled politically. And we're not going to put stumbling block on their part. And we're here to help, myself particularly, if they need any information, of which they had in recent past, requested some information from me. Principally, I must mention the name of somebody who has been very forthcoming in this direction of political resolution, which is the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti. So I appreciate him. And he requested a lot of information from me, some of them quantum, some of them significant, to assist in this maneuver, to have this matter of Nnamdi Kanu resolved politically. So I have no reason to doubt his sincerity of purpose, and I also have no reason to have confidence that in the end, common sense may prevail, maybe more wisdom will prevail within the leadership of the country to say, hey, look, let's send this matter once and for all and take some political decisions. So, otherwise, I mean, after all, self-determination is a political issue, it's not a legal issue. So ultimately, that, I think, is the way some of our leaders might begin to see it in days to come, or weeks or months.
Okay, so let's take a break and go back to Nnamdi Kanu a little bit. You've been to Sokoto. You've been to the prison. How is he holding up? How is he coming up with this sudden reality of life sentence, of being transferred to Sokoto, far from his family, far from friends, far from rich?
Well, I can tell you, a prison is not a 5-star hotel. So if I begin to tell you it's comfortable, I'll be lying. I'll be in denial. He's not comfortable, but he's not unhappy. He's not depressed. He's not stressed out. He's very strong and very upbeat and hopeful in that maxim that in the end justice will always prevail. And he happens to be a man of excellent physical health. He does have some health challenges, just like any human being could have. And a lot of them were in the public domain when he was under the custody of DSS. So he's not hidden, but he's managing those health conditions pretty well. So he's looking forward to a day soon when he shall be a free man and go home to his family, friends, and associates.
Talking about the judgment, what do you have to say about such a judgment that we watched on television and a lot of things that have gone around it? You have a deeper knowledge of that judgment than any other person who is commenting from the outer world, being part of the judiciary.
Yeah.
What is your most profound perspective of that judgment?
Well, I'll just give you two views, and I will restrict myself to the horizon within which I can speak without being in contempt. Of course, the matter is sub judice. So I pick 2 points. Okay. One point is this, that Nigerians need to keep in mind that despite the carnage of NSAS, a lot of people died on both sides of the aisle. Security agents died, innocent Nigerians died in their hundreds as well, especially at Lekki Gate. Nobody was convicted to this date regarding NSAS except Nnamdi Kanu. And he wasn't even in the country.
Physically available.
Yes, he was mentioned in the judgment. So Nigerians need to ask themselves, anybody watching, is that right thing to do? Is one of the things that is wrong with the judgment. The only person that stands convicted as of today, check it out, you can Google it, issuing from the NSAS protest, either policeman on the other side, security agent for killing innocent people, or any of the innocent Nigerians accused of anything. Nobody has been convicted, nobody has been prosecuted except Nnamdi Kanu that has been convicted for NSAS. And he was convicted despite the fact that none of the NSAS reports, including the prime report issuing from Lagos State, where most of the violence occurred, 99% of the violence occurred in Lagos State, indicted him. Never called him by name and never even mentioned IPOB. That is very strange. The second one is this show me the law thing. You know, the reason was saying that, okay, he's a layman. People could be saying, oh, what is he talking about? He's not a lawyer. But he's a good understudy. He learns quickly. We took law books to him. He studies the law. He converted his cell block at the DSS to a legal library, to a law library. So he knows a little bit, even though from the layman's point of view. What he was trying to say is that it is not fair, not even constitutional or legal, to try someone on a repealed law. I'm a lawyer and I'm saying the same thing. The way people misunderstood it, repealed law does not obliterate the offenses, but the repealed law changes the mechanism, the procedure. It changes the game. It's a game changer. I can give you an example. Up to the time of General Abdul Salami Abubakar, we had the Armed Forces and Firearms Decree. And we had the Armed Forces and Firearms Tribunal.
Okay.
Empaneled mostly by military officers. And the punishment for armed robbery and some firearms offenses of the egregious kind was firing squad. And oftentimes you'll be taken to your village to be shot. Some kind of a shaming of your family. Or if you don't have a family, they take you to the bar beach in Lagos at the shooting range and shoot you. But once Abdul Salami left power and 1999 Constitution came into force, the laws of the Federation of Nigeria relating to armed robbery and firearms reverted to the pre-existing law, which is the criminal code and the penal code for northern Nigeria and criminal code for the rest of the country. So anybody who had a pre-existing armed robbery case no longer faced a military tribunal. You faced the regular court. And the regular court convicted you, you were no longer subjected to to facing a firing squad in your village square or at the bar beach. You'll be subject to the punishment stipulated in the current law in force. And the current law in force is the criminal code or the penal code. So if they say life imprisonment, that's what you get. If they say 15 years imprisonment, that's what you get. But in Nnamdi Kanu's case, the law changed after the offenses were preferred against him. So he was in the process when the law changed. And there are advantages brought by the new law. Under Section 12 of the Nigerian Constitution, I think Section 36 of 12, a defendant or a suspect is allowed to take advantage of changes in the law. So you cannot relate back to punish him or give him a harsher punishment. So he was saying, in effect, you have the right to try me. Yes, I concede to it. But it has to be clear to me under which law you are proceeding, so that I'll be able to, put forward my defense. I'll be able to adduce my defense. Am I adducing my defense under the old law, which is now moribund, or am I adducing my defense under the new law? That was where everything came to a head. And the disagreement occurred. But the judge proceeded anyway and convicted him under the old law. So these very two issues I brought out should be illustrative enough of what is wrong with that judgment. And we shall lay these things along with the other reasons before the Court of Appeal.